I don't know why this review isn't all in one. So I spoke about the book, Building Small Steam Locomotives, a practical guide to making engines for the garden gauges by Peter Jones. And one of the things that I wanted to show was that it's got lots of helpful hints and tips, like even sawing, guidance for cutting and sawing straight lines, filing, soldering, using a normal blowtorch soldering, soft soldering and hard soldering, holding things together, various sorts of clamps, including little clamps that you can make, and obviously G-clamps, etc. Forceps. I would recommend going to shows, a tool holder there, because you can get, these look like an original engineer's one. You can get a cheap Chinese copy of that tool holder. I've not got one, from the tool suppliers, and you can get a box of these from some of the tool suppliers. Certainly the Model Engineering Show coming up in May 2018 in Doncaster, one of the suppliers will have a box of old clinical tools, these wonderful things. So reaming, cleaning up metal, sharpening things, and riveting, just how you do a little bit of riveting. It may be things and tapping, cutting threads by hand, using taps and dies. So all of that sort of thing, is covered, and basically how you join metal together before it gets onto a conversion. So in the early stages, some very basic guidance on metalworking, as well as instructions on how loco goes together. And then in the later stages, more advanced things in terms of machining, an introduction to using the lathe, the sort of cutting tools you've got, and then there's some examples using a vise to do milling in a drill press, and then some examples of things that have been made and machined. So more advanced things as you get later on in the book. So covers quite a lot. And the other thing is, I saw this at a show, so I'm really singing the praises as well of going to a show, because I was able to pick it up. I felt the weight, I felt the quality. It's nicely made, hardback book, and therefore I could feel that I was getting something I would treasure as a £25 investment that I could have at home as a reference. And I know a lot of things are on the internet, but it's really good to just be able to sit with something that doesn't need refreshing or any power or anything, and you can see it and read it. And there's the older style drawings which you get in the engineering magazines and some of the older engineering books, which that helps you understand how those relate to reality. So just a little bit of the contents of that book. I'm sure there's probably a better review if you look online from someone who works for a model engineering magazine who's reviewed that. So yeah, the advantage is you can pick up second-hand things at a show, relatively low cost, some of them. So that was low cost, I think that was £3. You can pick up bundles of magazines, either 50p a piece or a couple of pounds for a bundle of magazines to play with, and then recycle afterwards, not to be thrown away, but take back. I've got a place here on the Keith in Worth Valley Railway which will take donations of magazines, catalogue them and make them available for you to buy. I think you can even do it over the phone. And then there'll be other like this, hundreds of these sort of books available. They keep recycling them at these shows, and as I say, I ended up paying pretty near cover price for that one, and that's not. Oh, I don't know. You know, it looks older. I'm just going to look at that, see if it tells when it was published. Let me not write it off. It's got lots of pictures in it, but 2009. Okay, Grange Over Sands, 2009. It's a 2009 book, so not ancient, but there it is, suitable for the project that I'm looking at. So a little bit of a look inside that book as a part 2 of the review.